Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American history, and we're going to talk about Ryan Coogler's absolutely brilliant Sinners film. This is a historically important film, and I think that's my point. Is I think this is a major film that is going to go down in American history as a powerful narrative that changed the shape of American history, and by extension, American history never changes without the world's history changing. America is just the capstone. It's the foundation stone of every nation today. Like nothing happens in the world without America making a move. Nothing that happens in any other nation really matters half as much as minor things that happen in America. It's just the shape of the world. But this is an extremely historically important film. It's a powerful narrative that's going to cut through a bunch of problems in our culture, and I think bring some very real solutions. So I want to talk about it. Okay, so I want to talk about Ryan Coogler's film Sinners from the perspective of American history, and explain why it is a historically important film. Okay, so thanks for your patience. Let me set that up. Let's get into it. Okay. Oh, by the way, spoilers for Sinners here. Okay. So fascinating film. Michael B. Jordan. First of all, 5 out of 5 star film. Michael B. Jordan, bar none, his finest performance ever. A shocking performance, and that seems like it's a small thing, like saying it's a shocking performance, but I actually remember I was with somebody I love very much, and I was sitting in Creed 3, right? And Michael B. Jordan's in that film, and people were talking, and they were on their phones, and I was shocked. I was like, hey man, what do you guys, like, shut up. Like, right, it was like 2 rows behind us. And I remember people were loud and they were boisterous. And literally, as Creed 3 was dropping, the Jonathan Majors story struck. And I was there hearing that story break in the theater, right? It was like, there are powerful moments in American history, right? And movies are part of that. They are very much a part of that. And so, I didn't think that there'd be a more shocking event happen in a Michael B. Jordan film than what I witnessed. I remember this day, that, and it's really something. But this is a huge film, and I want to talk about American history and why this is a historically important American film. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about African American history. We're going to talk about Caucasian history in America, and I need to, and I feel like you'll understand by the time I'm done why I'm going to do this. And I need to put my blood on the line as far as explaining who I am and where I am between those two worlds, right? So I'm neither African American nor am I Caucasian. I am Basque and Mattapanai, okay? And I wanted to get that out because this entire video is about standing. We'll get there. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. All right, so this truly is an incredibly astounding occurrence. It's really amazing. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so I'm watching this movie, and everybody knew, right, like beforehand, that this movie was a vampire movie by Ryan Coogler. Right now, what's the big deal about that? Well, Ryan Coogler is huge in American cinema, and the reason why is he is an African American director, right? And there aren't that many of them, right? And then because they're so rare, what they do is extremely important, right? So there is a powerful, successful African American director. His name is Tyler Perry, right? And he is written off even by African Americans. He's written off across the board. And even though he has made billions with his films and has stood up incredible movies, generally he's laughed at among, both Caucasian and African American people, right? And that's really unfair, right? That's really unfair. Like, it shouldn't be that way, right? So Ryan Coogler comes along and he does a billion, right? $1 billion film, right? With what? Black Panther, right? So he makes his bones, right? Like, he's a made man at this point, right? He's in, right? Well, his rising Hollywood star gets turbo boosted, gets a nitrous boost from what? Well, this is terrible, but Chadwick Boseman's death, right? There are times where deaths in America fuel bigger events, right? And so it just made Ryan Coogler even bigger than he already was, right? Huge success in Hollywood, right? So I go to this Ryan Coogler vampire movie, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know what this is going to be. I don't really understand why he's going down this road, right? But he has a story to tell in this movie, but he also has a powerful statement to make. Actually, he has multiple powerful statements to make, and this is layered and rich with message, right? Message from Ryan Coogler, all right? So first of all, I'm like, okay, what is this? Is this just, a bog standard Blumhouse horror movie he's put on by a good black director? It's not that, right? And I knew that when Michael B. Jordan, his character, he plays these twin brothers, the Smokestack brothers. The Smoke, and actually, so Smoke goes to get Omar Miller's character, and his character's name is Cornbread. And he is a very large African-American man, and he's like 6'6". I mean, he's huge, right? And so he goes and he drives up this and this whole film takes place in 1932, all right, in Louisiana, near the bayou, okay? And so this is really fascinating, right? So so they drive up this, 1932, must have been a Ford, right, to go get Omar Miller's character, Cornbread, and they need him for security for their juke joint, right, which is like a blues hall, right? And they're going to open up a blues hall that night, right? And they need security, so they go to get this really large black man who will be scary to anybody who wants to make trouble, right? But it blew my mind. I could not believe Ryan Coogler did this. So Michael B. Jordan drives this 1930s Ford, and like at this point, like cars are like 20 years old. Like it's wild, right? Drives this into a field, and earlier in the movie, when the Smokestack brothers were driving into a Louisiana city, a town, not a city, a town, okay? There was a train station, so it was really kind of like a large town, right? They get there and they drive in, and I'm like, is that sheep's wool? And they're just kind of driving through the streets, and I'm like, that looks like sheep's wool. Is that sheep's wool? I don't know what that is, right? And so I see this thing, and I can't really tell what it is, right? And then, Smoke goes to get Cornbread in the field, Omar Miller's character. And they drive into a field. And there is Cornbread and his wife standing in a field. And there are these plants that are coming up a little above their waists, right? It's like 3-4 feet high. And I was like, wait a second, what is that, right? And I realized Cornbread and his wife, the characters in the movie, are picking cotton. They are in the South, in the sun, standing with sacks on their waists, and they are picking cotton. And I was like, what? I was astounded. And the reason why is never in my life have I seen a movie that showed African American people standing in the South in the sun picking cotton. And the reason why is you can't do that in a movie today. You cannot do that. I'm 55 years old. I was born in 1970. I started watching movies when I was 5, okay? And for the life of me, I cannot remember ever seeing that in any movie ever. And the reason why is just timing in America, okay? America had African Americans that we were forcing to pick cotton in our fields in the year starting in 1775. That only goes for 90 years. It stops in 1865, right? Where they're being forced to, right? And that was 90 years of HE double hockey sticks here in America, right? And we fought a war over it. 700,000 Americans died over it. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So this is that image is burned into the retinas of every African American and every Caucasian American as good and bad and wrong and right. And the people who disagreed on those values literally murdered each other over it. I mean, it's the only American Civil War we've ever had. Now, I want to be super clear. It was completely wrong. There was no right to it. There was no good to it. It was all evil and it was all wrong, okay? But there were Americans who thought it was good and right. And to get that set correctly to the right value, the right answer, it took 750,000 American lives, right? So when I saw Ryan Coogler showing this in the film, I knew this was a historically important film. And the reason why is, no, there is not a director in America that could show that in any movie today, except Ryan Coogler, right? And why? Because he has standing. He has standing, right? He is an unmitigated African American and an unmitigated success, right? And this showing that image is so volatile, so dangerous, that anybody who does it needs full standing. They need the right to do it because they can communicate, they can do it in the right way, and they're doing it for a good reason, right? Because I honestly don't think any studio executive in America would greenlight this film if you didn't have Ryan Coogler making this. It's astounding. It is almost unheard of, okay? So the point is, Ryan Coogler had standing to make this movie, right? And to put African Americans standing in the South, standing in the sun, picking cotton for a vampire film, right? Come on, man. You're going to do this you can't do that for a bog standard Blumhouse horror movie, right? You cannot do that, right? But you can do that for a horror film, for a movie where the studio's executives realize, okay, this guy is going somewhere. There's more here than entertainment. There is a compelling narrative, but there's also a valuable message in the film, right? I'm not even going to say today what the message was. I'm just saying Ryan Coogler had the standing to make this movie, right? And that's important. That's historically important. Every single word you just heard in this video, every single word you just heard in this video, every single word you heard in this video is absolutely nothing more and nothing less than my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. This is a treacherous topic to talk about. I did it as respectfully as I could. If I got anything wrong, I'm willing to hear it. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.